I don't know how many people have seen the OG blaxploitation film from back in the 70s. It was all about style. The music was legendary. How even DC used it for their variant covers. And I wasn't sure about this remake, right? Like, what was it going to bring to the table? What is there to even be excited about until I saw this interview?
Oh, I thought it was a little extension you got back there.
No, this is real.
Okay.
Took me a long time to deal with a lot of hateful comments.
I don't hang with
Why?
people with
What
memories.
is that dookie shit on the back of your head? I'm like, no, I'm growing it, leave me alone. And now they feel bad.
What made you grow that?
The Anakin Skywalker, John. Yeah, I was frustrated musically, and I felt like Anakin Skywalker, he was a powerful Jedi, but nobody took him on missions. Nobody let him do what he thought he was capable of doing.
Legend. So considering I'm automatically a stan of Trevor Jackson and will support anything he does financially, I decided to go check out this movie, and I thought it was a decent stream it for me. Let me explain. So this movie's actually directed by a music video director who you no doubt have seen like a bunch of the stuff that he's made. He's actually the one who pitched this movie as the Hood Shakespeare. I think it's more like a Robin in the Hood, if anything, when you're looking at what they're doing. And I know that some people actually want to do a boycott on this movie, but I can guarantee you that those people who are saying that it does bad also own a copy of The Godfather or American Gangster. You know, we'd be lying if we didn't say that we don't have to condone these things, but organized crime can be entertaining, right? Like, I'm not over here pushing cocaína, but these mob empires are a little fascinating. You got the Italians with their mafia, Japanese people have the Yakuza, my tios are narcos for the cartel, and in this particular one, you have SuperFly covering the culture in the South for some. I mean, they got Big Boy from Outkast playing the mayor, Future pulled a Kenny, and he did the entire soundtrack, which is cool. Rick Ross appears for a bit before he runs out of breath, and you follow this dude with a Johnny Bravo haircut who's making moves down there without being on the radar at all. He owns a mattress store, which, if you've ever wondered why there's 4 mattress stores in one corner, now you know. But the problem is that while he's trying to do everything secretly, right? He's just trying to make his money and not cause any problems, no violence, no nothing. The problem is, as he says in one of my favorite quotes from the movie, it doesn't matter if you're smart in a world full of stupid people. There's this gang calling themselves the Snow Patrol. They're being led by Jabba over here. Dudes walk around looking like stormtroopers with their guns, and I swear, half of their outfits are made out of like 2-ply Charmin Ultra Soft, but it's the fact that they got this dude right here who's always pissy, right? He looks like 21 Angry, who's always trying to get at your boy Priest. Thing is, Superfly over here is actually a freaking superhero. Dude is like the Iron Fist of Atlanta, right? He's being trained by his Mr. Miyagi, who's Omar from The Wire, and not only did he teach him everything that he knows, but he's also kind of like his kingpin. He's the one who gives him all of the stuff. So when Jose Zuniga here finally decides, you know what, I want out of this life of crime, they tell him no. Now here's where I'll remind y'all that there is no part of Atlanta, there's no part of America, really, that is scarier than when you're 2 feet into Juarez, right? Like gang members over here, they'll give you a drive-by and have somebody else clean it up. Cartels will straight up decorate your body like a freaking piñata. Priest goes to Mexico so that he can talk to the source. It's the same drug dealer from Ozark, and he's the guy who's distributing the cocaína. And since Priest is trying to do one last big push, my man places like a Costco bulk order on it. Obviously, organized crimes always become unorganized. There's a whole bit where these guys end up with corrupt cops who catch them and they demand 50%. Then he magically finds a way to reframe the cops and put them in jail. There's this whole setup where he gets the Snow Patrol to get massacred and they melt. And legit, the way that he's able to get out of the cartel's grasp is by snitching on this dude's mom and telling her that he put his own brother in jail. She don't even ground him. This lady straight up incinerates her boy. Like, damn. The chancla would have sufficed. Probably the dumbest parts in this movie are like parts where the car chase scene where it all of a sudden switches to 42 frames per second, which really what that means is that it goes from looking like a movie to your new 4K TV that you turn on and everything just looks a little bit off. The writer also clearly wanted us to hate this white cop, which, just look at his face. I mean, people watch the news. It wouldn't have been that hard, but the writer tries really hard to the point that he has a scene where the cop shoots one of Priest's guys, even though he's about to make a deal with Priest. Like, I get that you're trying to justify the final scene in the movie where Priest whips the cop like a Klan member, but you're trying really hard when every time his partner pops up, you gotta go and take a load of this racist I gotta work with. Oh my gosh, he's such a racist. And you're trying really hard when you even name this fool officer Turk. I don't think this movie is better than any of these right here, but if you like these movies, it'll satisfy that fix, right? And yes, of course, this dude looks super fly. If anything, besides surprisingly learning from the movie that crime is bad, it's also knowing that you can never be too careful because it doesn't matter if you're smart in a world full of idiots. Thank you guys for checking out this video. Curious to know your thoughts down below if you caught this movie. They released it like on a Tuesday. They didn't even wait for the Friday release, but it's out there. There's a whole soundtrack. Like I said, Future did the entire soundtrack, which I think is pretty cool. He is the guy in an interview who said that he makes music for businessmen. So, in their break, they can feel like they're gangster. There are points in this movie, like I said, the writing sometimes gets a little TV right-ish. They had a Mexican just mentioning fake news, which I thought was a little cringy. That would have been one thing, but like I said, the cop thing. Then there's even a point where they like destroy a Confederate statue. It's the way that they kill a guy, but it's dumb, like knocking down Confederate statues. And even Lecrae's in here. I'm curious to see the response to Lecrae being in this movie where a dude's having a three-way with some women, considering that Lecrae has gone from a Christian rapper to a Christian trapper to some people. I'm curious to see what happens with that. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Definitely let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. What movies you want me to cover. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll send you a brick.